What just happened?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's Happening Wednesdays, or whatever you want music radio. This is Most, aka Khaled Bey, and I'm here today with a very, very, very special guest, the 55th governor of this great state of New York, Governor David Patterson. Governor, I appreciate you being here.
Khaled, it's great to be on the show. Thank you for your service. Of course, remember when you were in Albany working for the leader at the time?
Yes, sir.
And now you went back and started your own career, and now you've moved to be the president over there. So I'm honored to be sitting here with you.
Yeah, President Pro Tem, Governor, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Appreciate you taking the time out. Appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us. I understand, you did a lot of phenomenal things, obviously, as the governor. A lot of firsts in regards to you. I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit, and then we can get to why we're here to talk about your book, because
Absolutely.
that's an exciting thing. But just talk about, that moment. And I saw some of the excerpts from the book about that moment when you got the call from the gentleman in the bathroom.
Yes, I got the call from the governor's secretary. His name is Richard Baum. The secretary in government is like the chief of staff.
Yes, sir.
So he's calling me and he's whispering, and I can't understand what he's saying. Except that the day had been kind of strange. Every time there was another event the governor's supposed to go to, they would call and tell me to go. And finally, the governor's going to meet with the Pope, and he called me, and I said, I can't meet with the Pope. That's a head of state to head of state meeting. You can't delegate that. And they're like, well, go anyway. I'm like, is everybody around here going crazy? They hadn't gone crazy. What happened was that they knew that the governor was going to resign at 2:15, but the governor wouldn't let anybody talk to me about it. So I get the call at 5 after 1, and after 10 minutes, I just said, listen, I can't understand what you're saying. So he texted one of my staff members who comes in and says, the governor was called with a prosecutor, he's going to resign in an hour, and you're going to be the governor. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get it, a whole hour. I can set up a transition team. And when I came into office, I was sworn in front of an international audience, almost like a president, because the story was so big. It was in all the other countries were covering it. That they said that this was really going to be an historic accession to government. First of all, I now was the first black governor of New York. I was the second blind governor in the country. The first one served for 10 days, by the way. If he didn't pass a budget, to me, he's not a governor.
That's right.
And so it was just a really interesting time. And the other thing that happened was that so many people, when they saw the change of power, tried to take advantage of it. So people called me up and say, the governor's going to make me head of some agency in June. It was in the bag, but now that you're the governor, you don't have to do it. I said, well, look, if that's what the previous governor did, you're fine with me. Then I go, when I check, turns out no one offered this guy the position. It was crazy. Another time when we were hiding in my house, trying to stay away from the press during the time that the story broke about the governor and when he resigned. And there was a woman who worked for me, and she's sitting there, and she keeps answering the phone, and she keeps hanging it up. She's getting upset, and I said, well, who's that? She said, well, it's my boyfriend. He's outside, he's a lobbyist, and he wants to come in and talk to you. So I said, next time it rings, hand the phone to me. She handed the phone to me, the next time it rang. I said, Bob, what's going on? He goes, Governor, I got to come in and talk to you. I said, Bob, you can come in and talk to me. You have 5 minutes, and then you have no time for the rest of the time that I'm governor. Either that, or you just drive away from here and let me address this problem right now, whatever it is. I mean, what was he going to talk about that was so important?
Right, that's right.
It was just incredible, because it was as if everybody lost their head.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's interesting when I was reading about it, and you can imagine, as the vultures swarm, seeing opportunity, or what they thought was opportunity.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And people, in those moments, better than I do. You've been in this a long time. Since '85, you've been elected.
Yeah.
And so, I'm a baby in comparison in terms of political years. But just seeing some of the things you did as governor, being behind the wall working for the state senator and Malcolm Smith did, Sampson after that. It was just an interesting time in New York, and I thought a great time in the state. So,
well, we got rid of the Rockefeller drug laws in 2009.
That's right.
We challenged a 2-year legal fight about whether or not the governor could appoint a lieutenant governor, and we won. We established real procurement with minority and women-owned businesses. We got that up to 13% in 2010. I signed legislation if you stop and frisk someone and you find they're not doing anything wrong, you can't keep records of the stop. I mean, maybe if you lived in the old Soviet Union, they do that. But the United States of America are not supposed to be doing that. And we never had a downgrade in our credit rating. We balanced the budget every year. And as I used to say, when they would criticize the job I did, and I did all these things, I'm black, I'm blind, and I'm still alive. How much better do you all want me to be?
That's right. That's a perfect segue into the title of your book. You got a memoir that you put together, titled Black, Blind, and in Charge.
How about that?
How about that? So tell the people about that, because it certainly sounds interesting read to me from what I saw so far.
I was one of the first disabled students to ever go to public school. And I was born in Brooklyn and would have gone to public school in Brooklyn or in Harlem where my parents were trying to move. But the New York City public school system said they would not educate a student such as myself in a public school. I had to go to a school for the blind. And Stevie Wonder went to a school for the blind, and it worked out for him. But the issue, he's 4 years older than me, but the issue was, my mother said, in the end, the people that you go to school with are going to be the people who you socialize with, and inevitably they're going to be the people you do business with. So she said, they can provide you with the education, but education's more than just reading books and getting good scores on exams. It's learning how to interact with people, learning how to deal with people, and in my case, learning how to deal with my disability where other people were concerned. And I think that it gave me a leg up, and I still know some of the people that were in the programs with me when I was younger, and I thought none of them really reached their potential. We used to compete when we were younger and that kind of thing, but I think that added element of having to deal with people and, what to say to them when they ask you, are you cross-eyed, that kind of stuff, was, without it, I don't think I'd be sitting here talking to you, Councilman. I just don't think that would be the case. And so my father, of course, was Secretary of State of New York and first black vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. And so most people, they think my father paved the way for me, and he did in that respect. But really, in terms of my ability to adjust to in a society where I was turned down a number of times because of my disability for jobs. At one point, I almost quit college because I didn't think I'd ever get a job. And so, I chronicle all that in the book. And most times when I read books that politicians write, they write about all the things they did, and everybody else listened to them and that kind of thing. But I definitely made some mistakes, and I wrote about them in the book. And people mistreated me, and I wrote about that in the book. And I got even with some of them, and I wrote about that as well.
Well, I'm certainly not going to take up all of your time because I know you got a stack of books over there and a lot of people that want copies. Governor, let people know, where can we find the book? Where can we learn more about it? Where can we purchase it?
You go to blackblindandInCharge.com, and it's right there.
That's right, blackblindandInCharge.com. Yes, sir. That's right. We're sitting here, What's Happening Wednesdays, with Governor Patterson, the 55th governor of the city of New York, talking about his memoir, Black, Blind, and in Charge. Make sure you go to his website, blackblindandInCharge.com. Make that purchase.
And Mr. President, years from now, when you come out with your book, I hope you'll sign one for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I hope you sign one for me as well. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Governor.
Good. Thank you.
Good to see you.
That was great.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What's Happening Wednesdays on Whatever You Want Music Radio. This is Mos. Continuing, we just finished talking to the 55th governor of the state of New York, Governor David Patterson, about his book, Black, Blind, and in Charge. Again, make sure you go get that, blackblindandInCharge.com. Right now, we're sitting here with my mans and them, Virgil Hutchinson, the organizer of this event, the B2B. Virg, talk about the event, man. Appreciate you being here, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Clint. Yeah, so the ideal of this is to, what it says, B2B, business to business, and network, and do a little bit of socialism. So I think it's very important, especially for the Black and Brown, to become stronger as it relates to business and commerce. And this is one of the ways that we can do it. And this is the second one, and I hope that it grows and subsequently Black and Brown businesses are more inclusive, and commerce is better for all.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know Virgil, you're quite the entrepreneur. You know, Virgil is a former Syracuse Police Department detective, police officer and detective, you know, and then gone into his own business, a number of businesses, first with trauma scene cleanup, and then, of course, with freelance investigation services.
That's right.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
And so, you know, and now providing opportunity for other businesses, Black and Brown businesses, to get together in the network, to make those connections so that we can do business together.
That's right.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm looking for somebody to take it over, because I'm a support type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really don't have time, but I saw it was very necessary for us in this region here to network and grow our strength as it relates to commerce. And so whoever take it over, I'll support it.
Well, he
I
putting
just
that
want to
out
sleep
there.
a little. I just want to sleep a little bit. You know?
Right. We're putting that out there, folks, for y'all to understand. Taking over, Virgil's getting tired.
Right.
But business to business networking event at the rail line downtown Syracuse on Clinton Street. This is what's happening. We got business people here. As you saw, we got the former governor of the state of New York, Governor David Patterson here. A host of others in the place doing business. And this is What's Happening Wednesdays, whatever you want, music radio. We appreciate you being here, taking the time out. Virg, appreciate you having us down here.
And we appreciate you too. I mean, this is very important to have your digital radio here, so we can educate people, man. So I don't want to play your role as being small. This is something. I mean, you're from Syracuse. I'm from Syracuse, and this stuff is important. It's very important, and I think you're doing a great job. Also, being a politician in our community, holding us down strong. And I always said, to your face, and I'll say it back in your face, that you are a strong component to our community. And I hope that we have others like you far to come.
So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thanks again, Virg, for having us. This is What's Happening Wednesdays. Whatever you want, music radio. I'm out.